Guess what? Vanessa rolled up the stairs. She just pushed up.
Yeah, that's what she does.
She just showed right up.
That's what she does.
She knew where to go.
And we got the sign.
She's got a sign. She's got a sign with her and everything.
Has sign, will travel.
Has sign, will travel. Let's see here.
Are we live yet?
We are. We're on. Look.
We're on. Look at that. Ah!
There you go. Right there. You could pull up your phone. Let's see if we're live on your phone.
I'm very confused by this.
Let's see here. We're gonna work this. Pull my page up. Let's see.
All right. Hang on.
Boom. Right there.
Boom.
Now let's scroll up. Let's see what's happening. Go the other way. It should be live somewhere on your. It's gonna come up. I know it's gonna come up. But anyway,
all right.
We'll play with that.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
I've got to try something real quick. Saira.
Brother Jeff.
But did I say Saira right?
You did. Did I say Brother Jeff right?
You did. Okay.
We have so much in common.
Saira. Is it Rao?
Rao. Like pow.
Rao. Like pow.
Yeah. And Saira is like Sarah with a super thick Southern accent.
Wow. Saira Pow.
Saira Pow.
You know why I said pow? Because you're bringing
it. Bringing the pow.
You're swinging. Listen, you're swinging.
I'm swinging.
How was it coming in? Did you have a hard time finding parking in 5 Points?
I got the last parking spot.
Because parking is getting incredibly...
everywhere. Disaster.
Is that because of unmanaged growth or just the consequences of wanting to be a big city?
I think it's totally unmanaged growth and lack of vision in terms of the way we're growing.
Wow. Okay, now my voice kind of...
We haven't done the trigger warning yet.
Not yet, but...
God, you got to give people the heads up.
My voice kind of elevates, but it's not in a threatening way. It's in a passionate way. So use your outdoor voice because... Well, not your outdoor voice, because people will say, speak up, I can't hear her.
Can you hear me?
Let's test it. Trigger alert.
Trigger alert! This is a show that triggers people because you have entered a free think zone. If you are not willing to be exposed to other points of view, tune out now and don't read the comments. You have been warned. Boom!
Ow. That was incredible.
Thank you.
That was incredible.
Thank you.
I'm feeling good, but my allergies are bothering me.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
But let me tell you why. Our leadership decided to cut down 100-year-old trees for a 100-year-old coming flood. Mm-hmm. So with no trees, the bees are gone, the birds are gone, and my allergies are kicking in.
Right. We're killing the planet and killing each other in the process.
Oh, Dana just said you just did the best trigger alert reading ever.
I'm happy to come back anytime. I can be your trigger alert.
Saira, who was your first black friend?
My first black friend. Well, my first black friend also was my boyfriend. 5th grade. 5th grade.
Smashing.
Cesar Lanaya Scott Jr. And I've actually tried to find him on Facebook because I recently found a note that he wrote to me in like beautiful cursive. It's kind of like your handwriting, Vanessa, like little hearts on the eyes, butterflies. And we used to just like write notes to each other. And I have a picture that I'll share with you of me and Cesar going for a little jog together.
Incredible trigger alert. Best black friend. Dated him.
5th grade. Super intense. We used to just jog together and do the swings during recess. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are going to be watching this after the broadcast, and the way that we fund this information and the work that we do in community is with 7 donations a day.
That's
amazing. Just ask people to go to brotherjeff.com and make a donation of any amount.
Everyone needs to go do that.
You don't have a problem raising money because I saw the numbers you're raking up. You
Gotta
know
just
how
ask.
to raise money.
So speaking about that, I don't know how to raise money. I've just recently learned another ex-boyfriend. This is much more recent. He told me much more recent. Today's my 14th year wedding anniversary. So I say recent, but it predates that. So it was like 20 years ago. And he said, and he's a white dude, right? So they know how to do this. If you don't ask, you don't get.
You know how they say that?
Simple as that.
You know what they say in the hood?
Well, how?
Closed mouth don't get fed.
Yeah.
Vanessa, grab her phone and look and see if we're live and just share it. But she probably got a code on there. You might not be able to just jump right.
6053.
You just might not get in there. Yeah, closed mouth don't get fed. I heard that you had a recent breakup, and I'm really sorry, or I'm sad because now that we're friends on Facebook,
And I mean,
and we're
in real life.
we're friends in real life, I feel like we can talk about this.
Okay.
You know,
6053.
we can talk about this. So
Want me to tell you about it?
I want you to read a little bit of that.
Okay. Ready?
I'm ready.
It's going to be a little tamer than the trigger alert. I got to keep it real. Okay, the title. I'm a brown woman who's breaking up with the Democratic Party. I realize now that the love has been one-sided. Dear Democratic Party, you are the love of my life. I fell in love early and hard. I've been the kind of party loyalist, the kind of sappy, soapbox-y, clichéd devotee that makes Fox News moonwalk with glee. The first vote I ever cast at 18 was for Bill Clinton. The last vote I cast was for his wife Hillary. My adoration for Hillary bordered on mania. In college, true story, I named my ficus plant after her. 20 years later, I canvassed, held fundraisers, dragged my 8-year-old daughter door to door, proudly wore HRC's face on t-shirts, and housed campaign volunteers in my home. I loved you so much that I cried each time I voted. Thinking about the women who died fighting for my right to vote did it every time. I cried when I voted for Bill, for Barack Obama. I wept when I voted for Hillary. You've been that kind of mad love to me, and now I want to break up.
Oh, my God. She's breaking up with the Democratic Party.
I realize now that the love has been one-sided and unrequited. You've never recognized me as a brown woman. You've taken my love, my money, my tokenism with nary anything in return. You married the white woman and hooked up with me on the side.
Oh, my goodness.
Black Lives Matter is a second or third thought. Where is your outrage over the national epidemic of police brutality against black people? You continue to call angry white men who commit mass murderers lone wolves. But if someone who looks like me screams Allah and fires a gun, it's terrorism. And you wonder why angry white men are gunning down innocent brown men at bars, in their yards, on the street.
Oh. Wow.
That was a much more intense breakup than the one I had with Cesar Lanaya Scott Jr.
But the Democratic Party has broken your heart, taken your loyalty and love for granted, and you're letting them know that you're done.
So I want to caveat that because obviously I'm running for Congress now as a Democrat. So the question is, you broke up, are you back together? What's up? So let me explain. So what I realized in response to that, so that piece was it ran in the Huffington Post in early December. It went viral. I'd never experienced anything like that in my life. Hundreds of thousands of shares and comments and emails. And the response largely fell into three categories. One category was from the corporate Democratic sort of centrist base, telling me to buy Felicia. And then the other side,
you Felicia.
There was a lot of Felicia happening up in there. Then the other side, white, black, male, female, gay, straight, saying we used to think the party was the lesser of two evils, and now we think they're worse because they're hypocrites. And then finally a third bucket of people saying, you know what, why don't you run for office? And I thought to myself, can't we just expect more from our representatives? Like, running for Congress is not exactly an easy thing to kind of jump into and do. I know, I mean, it looks easy, right? But and so I thought about this over Christmas, and what occurred to me was my issue with these folks who have been in Congress for decades, and they have safe seats, and they're not using their power and their privilege and their safe seats to advocate for the disenfranchised, that's wrong.
Wow.
I'm privileged. I have class privilege. I can afford childcare. I'm able-bodied. I have a supportive husband. If I didn't use my privilege and my power to challenge the status quo, then I'm just as bad. And also, it's not the entire Democratic Party. We have a real moment here. It's not just a red to blue situation. It's a blue to true blue. And when you're talking about
blue to true blue.
Yeah. So when you're talking about, we used to be the party of the disenfranchised, of the black, of the brown, of the poor, and sick. And now we're a party of corporations. So once we started taking the money, we started paying attention to corporations who are giving us the money. We can fight for the soul of this party. I know we can, and we can win, and we can get our party back. So I have broken up with the Democratic Party establishment.
The establishment. But not the party itself.
Not the party. I think the progressive arm of the party is fighting hard now, and we will win.
Because you realize that the insiders were a lot out of touch with ordinary people.
Totally. And you know what's amazing to me is November 2016 should serve as a huge cautionary tale, right? It hasn't with the DNC, which is very interesting to me. They've seen it somehow as sort of a blip, an anomaly, rather than a cautionary tale. And polling showed after that debacle of November 2016, guess why brown and black voters didn't show up? Guess why young voters didn't show up?
Tell us.
Why did the Rust Belt go away? Because they said no one was listening to them. And do you know why they feel that way? Because no one was listening to them. And it's as if the DNC is impervious to this feedback of, it's like meta. They're not listening to people saying that they're not listening, you know? And people know that if you're answering to big pharma, if you're answering to healthcare companies, you're not answering to me and you. We're the richest country on the planet. Why can't we have healthcare equity? Why are our prescription drugs outrageously priced? Why has an insulin shot gone from $1.80 to $330? I would say that it's because Democrats, corporate Democrats, are filling their bank accounts with money from big pharma and healthcare companies. Get them out. Get them out. Go to opensecrets.org, type in any representative in this country, and you can find out where they're getting their money from. And I would challenge every single person who cares about equity, social, racial, economic equity, to vote out every single person who's taking a dime of corporate PAC money.
Oh.
Seriously. We can do it. We can do it.
See, Elizabeth, she actually divorced the party. She went green. And she just said, oh, Lord, have mercy. This woman gonna mess around and make me vote Democrat.
Boom! Thank you, Elizabeth.
Hanifa says, let's now check this out. Black women realized this long ago. At least you were on the side. Black women are on the nightstand. Woo.
Couldn't agree more.
Oh, I mean, black women are one night stands.
No, I agree.
The Democratic Party sees only at election time.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like that.
It is like that. It is exactly like that.
Man.
It's terrible. So I'll tell you what happened that led to this breakup is, I did all this stuff and I sat down with some folks in the federal government and I said, I'm deeply concerned about the things that I laid out, police brutality against brown and black people. I'm deeply concerned that dreamers have been used as political pawns. They are human beings. You know what they said to me?
This is the party.
Yeah. We have bigger issues right now. We can't really focus on that right now. I think this is being blown out of proportion. And I said, there are people who are about to be deported to countries that they don't know, and you're sitting here in your ivory tower with your perfect health care. No one's deporting you, And so our issues are not, I wouldn't even say we're not even the top, 20 things that these people care about. So again, I come back to, you can't answer to us until you get the corporate money out. And once we get the corporate money out, all of us get a seat at the table. All of us get a seat at the table. All of us have our voices heard.
And that's possible.
Anything's possible. We're a new country. We've forgotten this. We're also a country that's based on genocide. We were founded on genocide of the indigenous people. Then we kidnapped Africans to come and boost our economy. And then we had a civil rights movement, and now there's no more racism, right? We haven't had truth and reconciliation. We haven't talked about any of this stuff. Seriously, why are we so afraid of these conversations? I've been told repeatedly, Saira, we love everything you're doing. Just, ease up on the race talk. It feels impolite. You know what's impolite?
What?
White supremacy.
Oh!
That is impolite.
You could be a co-host. I think I found it.
Maybe we'll see what happens on June 26th. I might be looking for a new job. So.
Cyrus, she's killing the game. What was your favorite Spike Lee movie?
I'm not going to do that.
You're not going Spike.
I have a whole soapbox about that. Let's move on to the next.
No, we can't do the right thing.
I don't want to talk about Spike Lee. Spike and I have a relationship with his movies.
What did you think about Black Panther?
I started crying halfway through Black Panther and didn't stop. And quote from my daughter, and this is why I hate going to the movies with you. I think it's the greatest movie I've ever seen. Seriously, the greatest movie.
Okay, Cardi B is pregnant.
Cardi B is amazing. Cardi B is amazing.
Do you think the pregnancy is going to impact her career? Because that's one thing that women have to contend with.
Yeah, of course it is.
But she could do it. She could have it all?
No one can have it all. And I think that you bring up a good point. Women are always told that they can have it all. First of all, brown and black women definitely can't have it all. And white women can't have it all. No woman can have it all because, my friend Carrie, who's my partner at my company in this Together Media, she always says, you can have it all just at very, very different times. And, in the end, this is a whole other conversation. We don't support prenatal care. We don't support early childhood care and early childhood education, and that is all on the woman.
Wow. Do you think that women go into power? Or let me ask this. Have you heard or seen Congresswoman Diana DeGette fight for those issues? What is her relationship with you, and what separates the two of you in terms of your approaches, your worldview, and how are you different?
Sure, absolutely. So I think us Americans have come to expect so little of our representatives that because they've, for the most part, delivered very little for us, that we've come to see, if you vote all right, you're good, There's a whole lot to being a representative that's not just about checking the boxes. So I would start by saying, number one, I haven't taken a dime of corporate PAC money. And again, go to opensecrets.org. You can see where she and everybody else gets their money from. Number two, my vision of how this job would be as a matter of process is very different. So I would continue to live here. My kids would go to school here. I plan to have a monthly, not an annual, in-district town hall where we would co-sponsor those with local leaders. So the mayor, the governor, state reps, city council folks, community leaders, and then we can stop saying things like, oh, homelessness, that's not my problem. That's not a federal issue. I-70, that's not my problem. That's not a.
Those are very much federal issues.
Everything. You learn in kindergarten that the hand bone is connected to this bone and that bone and every bone. A big problem, not just in District 1, but across the country, local, state, and federal governments are not working together. It's incredibly inefficient, and it breeds inequity across the board. And so I would want to have those town halls where we're all talking. So, for example, we could talk about I-70 and talk about how
they want to run a highway under the ground.
They want to do a lot of things.
In the hood.
It's always in the hood. It's always in the hood, right? Not in my backyard. It's always in the hood. And so what we do is we'll have these conversations. We're going to open up a satellite office that doubles as a community center. So you, as a person of District 1, you have elected me. You are paying my salary. Corporations are not paying my salary. You're paying my salary. You shouldn't have to make an appointment to get your questions answered. You should be able to walk right in and say, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? We're going to do paid internships for low-income students to go to DC with supported housing, access for everyone.
Wow.
People should be able to have access to that. Diverse staff, equity, and pay. And then finally, I will work my butt off up and down the ballot and across the state to get progressives elected all over
Saira
Colorado.
Rao. Pow. just, no one has anyone even run against Diana DeGette?
She had a challenger a couple years ago, Chuck Norris.
How long you get to stay in office these days?
I mean, a billion years from
been
the
a long
lows.
time.
20 going on 23 years.
Because I've only known Pat Schroeder and Diana DeGette in that seat. Can't we kind of shift it up a little bit?
Well, I hope so. And look, I have a ton of gratitude to anyone in public service.
Mm-hmm.
Major gratitude to Pat Schroeder, gratitude to Representative DeGette, because it's not an easy job. But I do think that, over 2 decades in any job, people, CEOs switch it up. You're supposed to, psychologically, apparently, you're not even supposed to live in the same house for more than 15 years. Like, you're supposed to change things up.
Psychologically.
Wow. So, these terms are 2 years, and I vow not to stay longer than 10 years.
Whew. Well, there we go. See that clock? It's starting. 30 minutes. You were, where were you at 9/11?
I was there. I was coming up the subway right in front of the building. So I was standing at the base with both towers burning. I was a third-year law student at NYU. And on Tuesdays that semester, I worked at the U.S. Attorney's Office. And I just remember it so clearly. It was one of the most beautiful days I've ever seen in my life. And the weather was perfect. And got off the subway, a woman had come flying down the stairs and said, get back on the train. Planes have hit the World Trade Center, and everyone was like, oh, right, come on. And we all got off the stairs, and sure enough, there's a little piece of a wheel on the ground, and both buildings are on fire, and this is before gentrification had fully taken over New York, so there's still a bodega on the corner.
Right.
Now I think it's like a Bank of America. And I went in, I'm dating myself, I went in because this is pre-smartphones. And I bought one of those, look, Vanessa's laughing. I bought one of those like little throwaway cameras to take pictures, thinking to myself, my friends will never believe this, thinking they're gonna put the fire out and everything's gonna be fine. And then I heard the loudest sound I'd ever heard in my entire life, and it was the first building coming down. So I ditched my backpack, my camera, my shoes, and went hauling up Church Street. And I was one of those people, you saw running up the street. And a woman's arm came around a building, pulled me out of the way, and like all the debris went flying up the street. And I spent the rest of the day bloody and walking around barefoot, walking around the city trying to find my sister, thinking that she was dead. And she spent her day doing the same thing, thinking I was dead. And both of our parents thought both of us were dead because all phone lines were down and they couldn't reach us. And it was awful. And I think in some ways we haven't, not in some ways, in every way, we haven't really recovered from that, because the fear that really happened that day for America, for Americans, I was praying, and I know everyone in New York and everywhere else, that our leaders would make us feel safe, right?
They stoked fear.
Exactly. So the exact opposite happened, right? The Republicans took that, crystallized it, and sold it to their base. So fear of us, right?
Yeah.
Black, brown, Muslim. I can't tell you how many, we get called terrorists all the time. Gay, people with disabilities. And the Democrats have crystallized their own fear. And it's fear of the Republicans and fear of Donald Trump. And we're now in this really bad place, frankly, where we're legislating, both sides are legislating from fear rather than hope and rather than equity and positivity.
Wow.
And that's what we need. Like, how about we all just say, let's stop tweeting horrible things about each other. It's not working. It's not helpful. If I see another thing about how horrible Donald Trump is, that is not useful. Why don't we talk about how we make things better for people? We have Flint, Michigan, 4 years.
She's got passion.
There's still no safe drinking water. We have a humanitarian crisis in Puerto Rico, and people are tweeting about Donald Trump.
See, she's not yelling. She's passionate. This is a moment.
A passionate brown
This is
woman,
a
not an
passionate-
angry.
You know, you had to overcome some other things as well. Peyton Lawson called you a nigger.
Oh no.
Did you get over it?
We're not supposed to use the name.
You were at the trigger alert.
Oh shit. Yeah, he did.
So he called you. So.
Yeah.
I
I remember it distinctly. And by the way, this was senior year in high school, and I remember I was wearing a Laura Ashley dress with like a pin-on collar. Like I was trying to be as Southern Belle as possible. And true story, again, Richmond, Virginia, capital of the Confederacy. I was in the senior lounge, and there was a huge Confederate flag there. And this is back in the day where people could still smoke. Mm-hmm. And so people were back there smoking with the Confederate flag and all that. And no one thought anything was wrong with that. You know, that it for people of color, seeing that flag every day at your school made you like you feel awful. And so yeah, I mean it was and he said it and he made me feel exactly the way he intended.
How'd you handle it? How'd you deal with it?
I just said I'm really disgusted, and he said like sorry, but like the damage was done, right?
What did your mother teach you about that?
God, my mom, I wish you guys, my mom died 6 years ago this June 4th, incidentally the day ballots dropped. So I think that Greenie's up there like hopefully negotiating some stuff. But my mom was a really, really interesting bird, fighter to the core. She couldn't get a job in India as a woman, which is why she immigrated here after the Immigration Act was passed after the Civil Rights Act. And she worked at the Veterans Administration for 34 years.
Wow.
And every day, she had rheumatoid arthritis, her hands were crooked, swollen, hot, she was in so much pain. Every day, she put on a sari. And if you've ever seen a woman try to put on a sari, it's not an easy,
it's a
work of art. And she would dip her hands in hot wax every morning. My sister and I would lay on her bed and watch her. Dip her hands in hot wax, pull her hands out, pull the wax off, and then fold. And there'd be days she'd come home and people would have been very unkind to her a lot of times, saying, I don't want a blank, giving me a checkup. And she'd say, all right, the next time a white guy can see you, you're probably gonna be dead. And they'd be like, all right. And a lot of these people ended up being her best friends.
Yeah.
And what she taught me, which is, and it's true to the core, always be kind and fair to everyone. People who work for you, people who work with you, and people who work above you. And I came home and told her what happened, and she was like, if I cried every time someone said that to me.
Has Peyton ever apologized?
No.
See, that's why we could call his name. I mean, see, the Me Too movement has brought all this stuff out of the shadows.
It's true.
You know, people are being held accountable for things that they've done 30, 40 years ago.
Tom Brokaw.
Whenever. Even, I hear Tom.
Yeah, my friend Sarah Ellison wrote that bombshell story for the Washington Post. So shout out to Sarah Ellison.
Whoa.
Yeah, Tom. They all of these people.
How does the Democratic Party treat you now? Because usually when you break up, you're more appreciated and they try to woo you back. It's kind of like a wooing. You like wooing. Are they saying we're sorry? I'll treat you better. I didn't know.
Yeah.
How's it working out?
Sure. So I want to start by saying the past 3 months have been the most extraordinary 3 months of my life in terms of who I've met. And the people of this district are diverse and wonderful and smart and in pain and hurting and are empathic and are, they're everything, right? So I want to start by saying that. Like, I have never been more amazed by people in my life.
But those are the people.
Yeah,
you broke up with the party.
In terms of the party establishment, it's been tough. It has not been a walk in the park. So, you know, and I'm not alone. I mean, you know, you saw the Steny Hoyer tapes with Levi Tilleman. Did you see those tapes or hear those tapes? All right, we got to send you those. That's the DCCC. But I think across the country, there are a lot, and it's not just the Democrats. The Republicans have the same thing going on in their party. But institutional roadblocks to change. Institutional roadblocks to having progressives challenge incumbents. And I'm a lawyer by trade, and process is everything, right? The due process clause is not just about process. It's about substance. And if you have this institution, Congress, where there are no term limits, having open and robust primaries are not just okay, it's the dictionary definition of a democracy. So I would think that a party, either party, would be delighted to have more options. I mean, we all claim to be capitalists, right? I don't necessarily, but we all claim to be capitalists. Don't we want more choice and have more options for the voters? And then after the primary, you can get behind the person that the people choose, right? But to have the party interfering in primaries feels really wrong.
Well,
and paternalistic.
It is very wrong. I mean, but look, you've raised more than $250,000 in the first quarter of your first upstart bid to upset Diana DeGette. That's no small feat. And it says that Diana DeGette has about, in 2017, she raised $430,000. I mean, you're right on her, like they say it in the hood. You're on her helmet. You're right. You're right. Does she feel you on her? Does she feel you?
You're gonna have to talk to her.
She hasn't called yet.
Really?
Because we don't reach out. We reach in. They reach in. The candidates got to reach in.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that I reached.
Saira, you reached right in. You reached in. You know, Diana does. I know Diana. She's been. She recently just held her annual meeting with Black leaders. I wasn't there. I've been kind of busy. Been kind of busy.
Yeah, you got a lot going on.
What are you going to do to reach out, or what are you hearing from Black leaders, and who are you talking to, and how are you navigating the Black community?
We are reaching out to every community, setting up lunches, coffees, calls, and this is, I mean, more than anything else, this is like a listening tour, you know? I don't purport to have all the answers. I don't know what all the problems are, you know? And so this is a situation where we are going back to brass tacks and bringing folks in, having conversations. I just had lunch with a lovely member of the Latina community, and we were talking about how something that's so important that we really want to work on together is bringing the various communities of color together. So bringing the Asian community with the Latino community, with the Black community, and seeing where our issues are alike and different and their safety in numbers, and we can advocate for each other. We don't have to, you know, I had heard recently from someone that some folks in the Asian community felt like distressed that all of the attention had turned on DACA, and they felt like their own immigration woes were being ignored. And I'm thinking to myself, this is what the patriarchy does, right? It's these false notions of scarcity, so we're all fighting over scraps, when in reality we have immigration policy that's rooted in racism across the board. So let's take out the cancer, let's take out the racism, and we all win. And frankly, I think it's amazing that DACA has become a household word, because first of all, most Americans on all sides want a Clean Dream Act, right?
Well, let me ask this: Have you connected with the African American Initiative of Colorado Democrats?
I don't know if we specifically have, but if we haven't, could you connect us?
I'll put you in touch with.
Yeah.
I can help you.
Look at that.
Use 30 minutes with Brother Jeff.
Okay, amazing. Best 30 minutes of my life.
Listen. You got to hit the Big Five. I'll tell you about the Big Five later. You got to get with DJ K-Tone.
Can you hook that up?
Yeah. K-Tone's one of the sponsors of this show.
Awesome.
See, these are the free thinkers. They're
They
all backgrounds. They have all different points of view.
They have entered a free thinking zone.
They're voters, they're non-voters, they're, you know, what are you going to do to attract the non-voters? The ones that have not quit the party, left the party, and threw their vote away. They're done.
We are in a full-fledged, and Vanessa can attest to this, ground game now. This is about knocking on doors, meeting people, talking to people, phone banking, on the phone, on the ground. And I'll tell you what, like, a lot of people have left both parties, frankly. We have a huge population of independents here and around the country. And what's really exciting, it's the first year they can vote. right?
Right.
It's an open primary.
In the primary, open primary.
And so people will vote if they feel inspired. And if you are coming to them and saying, tell me what matters to you. What matters to you? What is your pain point? They will come out and vote for you. They will. So if we knock enough doors and we make enough calls, we get there. And I can tell you some of the pain points that I'm hearing from around town.
I'd like to hear some of those pain points.
Affordable housing.
Of course.
Crisis. It's a crisis, right? I just want to also say that there are a lot of us first generation Americans running for office, so kids of immigrants. And people ask me, why do you think that is? And I would say, at least from my personal perspective, I grew up going to India when I was little. And I remember when I'd get off the plane, I would just be horrified by there were slums and then there were penthouses. And there was literally no middle class. India has a burgeoning, growing middle class. And we now in this country are in a 99.1% situation. We have we vote for the same people over and over again, and we have the highest income inequality we've ever had in the history, 99 and 1. 1% and 99%, right? So this is a crisis. And I think that those of us who have grown up being in third world countries, you're in a situation where you got the 99.1, you've got Flint. Flint's just the beginning, by the way, right? No safe drinking water. Puerto Rico, humanitarian crisis. We are in despair.
You know, we could go
despair.
on for a while. Saira Rao. She's running for Congress.
June 26th, primary. Please vote.
She's running against the establishment. Diana DeGette, entrenched.
Your words.
No, I mean that. Yeah. you are the little train that will.
That's right. And I am 5'3", so I'm technically little.
I wonder if Diana, if her camp will call and say, I need to go 30 minutes with Brother Jeff. Because when you're established, when you're rooted, you just probably have to talk to those same people, you know, and that turn the levers, and you don't have to do all this grunt work that you're doing.
You know what? This is the best thing I've ever done, so it's my pleasure.
Wow. BrotherJeff.com. Go there now, make a donation of any amount, and they'll get a black card. They get their Black Community of Colorado card.
That's worth it right there.
There's your card.
And SairaForCongress.com. SAIRA for Congress.com. Make a donation, any amount.
Any amount.
And you'll get a brown card.
You'll get a brown card. See?
You'll get a brown representative.
Yeah, a brown representative. Maybe our representatives will be more reflective of the population they represent.
I sure hope so.
But do you think there will be a change with just women in charge? For example, the school board is now 7-0 women in Denver. You think it'll change, or do you think it'll be the same kind of patriarchal outcomes put forward by women?
Look, change happens slowly, and change happens at the margins. And I truly believe that not just that change is coming, change is happening. Change is happening all around us. And that goes for women, that goes for people of color. I think that it's all going to happen slowly but surely.
Have you connected with the Colorado Black Women for Political Action?
Sure have.
Okay.
Yep.
That's a good move. That's a good move. You gotta do Colorado Black Women for Political Action as well. Everybody, don't forget Manual High School is going through another principal search. They've had like 7 principals in 10 years, 6, 7. I mean, you can't have consistent outcomes and greatness when you're constantly upsetting and starting up and restarting. So tonight at 6 p.m. from 6 to 8, go to Manual High School. They're going to be talking with the principal candidates, the finalists. So that's a way to get involved. And then also don't forget on May 12th, Our Voices, Our Schools, Black Power, the Black Parent Empowerment Summit.
Awesome.
Over 300 parents.
Amazing.
264 are registered right now.
That's amazing.
There's a lot of change happening at the grassroots level right now. Do you feel it's a special moment? Do you feel it? Do you say, there's a critical mass that says, I'm kind of done, I want something different?
I feel like I've never seen, and I'm no spring chicken, I've never seen this level of political activism in my lifetime. On all levels, local, state, and federal.
It's who you with for governor?
That's for me to know and for nobody else to find out.
Who you with? If you don't say Kerry Kennedy, you might be perceived as a sellout.
Yeah, well, people can perceive a way.
Kerry Kennedy was here.
Yeah, she's
Mike
great.
Johnston was here.
He's great.
Jared Polis is going to be here
great.
next week.
He's great.
I think you all might have a good slate of candidates.
I think there are a lot of strong folks running all across the state and up and down the ballot.
Attorney General, who you like?
Joe's my boy.
Salazar. That's the doghouse dim.
Yeah. And I have to say, I really appreciate he came out and publicly endorsed me before anybody else did. And now it's not so weird to endorse me anymore. So I am very grateful for him using his power and his privilege in that way.
Two good guys, Phil Weiser.
He's a wonderful,
awesome guy. He's been here also.
He's a terrific guy.
I think we're gonna.
He and I both are NYU law grads. I think he's a wonderful person.
There were some federal judges that were a little uncomfortable with the book you put out.
Oh God. Trigger.
He's trying to trigger some folks.
You just triggered me.
You kind of went in there and said, perhaps we should know a little bit more about our federal judges.
Uh-huh.
That, they're in absolute power. They can't be fired, and we don't know much about them.
That's true. And, before Bush v. Gore, you guys will recall that decision, we were under the delusion that federal judges, specifically, U.S. Supreme Court judges, were apolitical. And we saw that as a very overtly political decision. And I clerked for a judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit in Philadelphia, so that's one rung below the United States Supreme Court. Alito was on that bench. Marianne Trump, Donald's sister's on that bench. And I was really surprised by how, frankly, political decisions were made. And we're talking about constitutional decisions. And it was surprising. So I wrote a book about it, thinking this is going to be a little thing for me, like a little fun thing to do. And it got published by a huge press, and it got translated into 7 different languages and optioned by Warner Brothers for film.
Well, I'll tell you, the African American Initiative Colorado Democrats will be at Brother Jeff's Cultural Center on May 22nd from 6:30 to 8:30. You can come.
I'll be there. I'll be there for sure.
You'll meet several individuals. You'll get plugged right in.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
You're incredible.
Thank you.
You're incredible.
Thank you. You need to have a call with my husband.
You are incredible. I've got to ask this also.
Now I'm scared.
No, I need you to explain something to me from a woman's perspective.
Okay.
Because I knew that Barack Obama was going to beat Hillary Clinton initially. You want to know why I knew?
Why?
Because white men were comfortable allowing or having black men vote before white women.
That's true. Really? No, that's not true.
Yeah.
Really?
Black men in this country were able to vote long before white women.
Okay.
So when it came down between a black man and a white woman, I knew the establishment was going to choose the black man historically.
Yeah. Misogyny is alive and well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then when it was time, I was so looking forward to a woman president.
Me too.
I thought it was time.
It's been time for a long time.
And then when President Donald Trump, as a candidate, said, grab the women by their vajayjays, I thought it was a wrap. I said, no woman will vote for this man. And then I woke up and I learned that a great number of women voted for Trump. They weren't black women or brown women, but white women. How do you reconcile that? Because I can't.
One word: patriarchy.
The woman was more invested in patriarchy than her own leadership.
We are literally all of us All of us in this room, and white women included, are all being pulled like strings by the patriarchy. And so in the end, I firmly believe that those women, God bless them, or as they'd say in the South, bless their heart, ultimately chose to preserve their privilege. And this comes back to scarcity.
Well,
voted against their own interests.
Well, I'll tell you, we've got to wrap up in terms of your great company. You have a company called Together Media.
In This Together Media.
Talk about your media company and why you put that together and how people can connect with
the
product.
Yep. So started it 6.5 years ago with my friend from college, Carrie Albertine, recognizing the dearth of quantitative and qualitative diversity in kids' books. 83% of kids' books feature protagonists that are straight, white, cisgendered, abled boys.
What is cisgendered? I hear that a lot.
Just, sort of binary, male or female, the way you see yourself.
And it's
Cis.
cisgendered.
We'll go into
you'll
details
break
on that.
down
I'll break it down
later.
But so we set out to bring diversity to kids' books, and we were told sort of the things that women are always told, which is, you're crazy, you don't know what you're doing, you should just intern. And we were like, no, we're good. We're going to actually take over the business. And we knew two things. We knew that in order to connect with story, you have to see yourself in story. And number two, representation matters. So 6.5 years later, we are a hugely successful book packaging company.
Wow.
And our books are being published by Simon & Schuster and Random House and Penguin. And it's not that these folks' hearts have grown 3 sizes like the Grinch or got super woke, but they recognize that representation matters and people like to see themselves in story, and our books sell. So that's what we do, and the way we do it is, it's called In This Together Media, both by way of process and substance. We sit around a table, Carrie and I, we call in with our agent, we call in with our editors, we call in with our writers, and together we come up with the best story and the best characters, and it's not like one person dictating the way it's going to go, and our collective ideas come together. The writer writes the book based on these conversations, and then our agent sells the books to publishers.
Wow.
Yeah, we have an awesome one coming out in September called Nevertheless We Persisted, and it features leaders in all fields. Senator Amy Klobuchar from Minnesota has written the foreword. Patrisse Cullors, who's one of the co-founders of Black Lives Matter, has written an essay.
Wow.
Gavin Grimm, trans teen activist, has written an essay. We've got actors, Malik Pancholi from 30 Rock, and everyone is writing about identity struggles that they had in their childhood and teen years and how they overcame them.
Wow. Whew.
It'll make you, that like Black Panther will make you cry.
Hey, guess what? Candy is running for
She is.
City
She
Council
sure is.
District number 9.
She sure is.
I think that this is going to give Councilman Albus Brooks a run for the money.
Sure is.
Candy's not, she's no joke.
Far from it.
She's no joke. I mean, she carries around a binder.
Yeah.
A tomb of information.
Yeah, don't mess with Candy. And also come out and support Candy tomorrow.
Tomorrow, May 2nd, she's going to be at 2900 Downing Street, Unit 1B from 5:30 to 7. You know what? I'm going to broadcast live from there tomorrow.
Look at that. Wonderful.
I got to cover this.
Yeah, you do.
I want to see her debate with Albus, and I want to see you debate with Congresswoman Diana DeGette.
May 12th.
No, I want to see you two debate in the hood amongst the free thinkers.
Invite us both.
Okay, so you're coming?
I'm coming. I'm actually just not leaving after this. I'm just staying.
Okay. It's a good time. I think that democracy works better when you have lots of opinions getting in and vying and
Agreed.
And moving. I don't like unopposed. I don't like any of that.
It's the marketplace of ideas.
The marketplace of ideas. Okay, so I want to thank you.
Thank
I
you.
think we had a wonderful time.
I had a wonderful time. Thank you.
And we're Facebook friends, and we're friends.
We are friends in IRL.
You know, 2 people they unfriended me yesterday, and I picked up a friend today. I'm just, I've got a whole long list of
I'll
people
take that. I'll take leftovers.
But I'm not going to treat you like the Democratic Party. I'm not going to treat you like that, so I got one space. I got a list. I can go through a long list.
Someone better get on that right now.
Oh, Vanessa, Send me that request right now. You're in. I got you right now. You send me it's sent. We're full again. It's full. It's full again. It's full again.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks.
Okay, but I'm gonna give you the last word and tell people to vote for you and how to get in touch with you and
wonderful.
Give them that spiel.
Okay. Here's what we need. We would love your support. We need volunteers to phone bank, to canvas. We've got yard signs. Please like our Facebook page. Follow me on Twitter. Go to my website. Give us $10, $20, whatever you can do. All this stuff costs money, and we can do it. We can actually do this. And thank you all again. www.sairacongress.com.
And hit them with that. We're in a no moment. And how you change those no's around. You know, no immigrants, no Muslims, no this, no that.
This is the fear. How about pro-equity? How about healthcare for all? Elimination of student loan debt? Clean Dream Act? Affordable prescription drugs? And really drilling down into what Black Lives Matter and everything about that criminal justice reform.
Wow. Wonderful, wonderful time. Tomorrow, Jose Silva, he's going to be in.
Great. Thanks.
Thursday, Police Chief Robert White, he's going to be in. And then on Friday, we wrap it up with none other than John Bowman, JB and BJ. He's a Scorpio and I'm a Leo. Gets kind of in.
You're so proud of your astrological
Don't forget, tonight, we need you to be at Manual High School, 6 o'clock to 8 p.m. They changed the date, and this is the new date. So if you're getting lost on those dates, make sure you go in and you see the finalists for principal. And again, Candy for council, District number 9. She's doing her kickoff tomorrow, Wednesday, May 2nd, 5:30 to 7, 2900 Downing Street.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure you can.
The primary is June 26th. Ballots drop on June 4th. And if you're an independent, you'll get a ballot from the Democratic side and the Republican side. Just open the Democratic one and turn that one in, because if you turn in both ballots are spoiled.
Wow. Get your Black Community of Colorado card. BrotherJeff.com.
Thanks.
Till next time. Let's see if Juro can turn this off. He always struggles to turn off I don't know.